Welcome back to the Not So Serious channel. I'm your host, OJ Feliciano. With me, as always, is Luis Serrano. Today, we're going to be talking about Black Widow. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so you can watch it. It's perfectly fine. Our spoiler review and full coverage will be on Monday. So tomorrow for you guys, because this episode is recorded on a Saturday and it's going to be coming out on a Sunday. Let's get to it. So, Black Widow. I'm going to go ahead and just give you my rating and then explain why. I feel like that's easier. I'll be like, look, it's a 6 out of 10 for me. That's what it is.
I mean, yeah, mine's a 5 out of 10. It's just
exactly. And now let me explain. It's a 6 out of 10. However, it's an enjoyable film. It's a fun film. I liked it. I can watch it again. You're probably going to catch me rewatching it a couple of times once it comes free on Disney Plus. But this movie basically serves its purpose. It gives us context. It explains a couple of things that were left, hanging from previous films, and it sets up new characters. That's pretty much it. The fight scenes are pretty good, but I feel like the best parts of the story were cut short. Like I said, I'm not really gonna go into details because I can't. It's gonna be a spoiler-free review. The main issues for me would have to be the fact that knowing what the outcome for Black Widow is, you don't tend to feel as much tension in this film, which is which is like the major issue, I guess. The big issue with this movie is the timing. Like, the time it was released, it should have been made a lot sooner. And my other issue is the villains. I had a friend who told me that the villains in Black Widow are very MCU Phase 1 type villains. And I was
That's a good way to put it, actually.
And I was like, yes, it is.
That's actually very accurate. That's very accurate, actually. I haven't heard of that one yet. Yeah, my issues with Black Widow, honestly, same as yours. I genuinely don't understand why this movie couldn't come out after Civil War.
Yeah, exactly.
You can put this movie right after Civil War, and it doesn't affect the plot. It doesn't affect a single thing. And it would be a nice epilogue for Natasha. And it's as you said, it's a little lackluster knowing what we know from Endgame. If this movie had come out during Civil War, you're just like, oh wow, finally Nat has her own solo film. That was good, that was enjoyable. And then a couple years later, Endgame comes out, boom, she's dead. You're like, oh damn, I liked Black Widow so much.
Mm-hmm.
What else can I say that's not spoiler filled? Villains are lackluster. They feel dull. Again, no stakes. It's with everything that's been coming out with Marvel now, especially in the Disney Plus world with Loki, WandaVision. Marvel has gotten so cosmic and kooky. To go back to something grounded and with an espionage film, it's a formula, and it's a safe formula, and it works. It's not that Black Widow is not gonna make money; it's gonna make so much money, but it's such a formula that Marvel already has that they're used to, that we probably already recognize, and we're like, yeah, I've seen Winter Soldier, I've seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a formula, and it works.
Yeah, that's what I tell people, because I talked with my cinematography friends, and they were like, I was like, oh, it's a 6 out of 10, but I really enjoyed the film. And they're like, oh, what do you mean you enjoyed the film? You gave it a 6. That's like a D, And I'm like, well, that's the thing. My rating isn't based primarily on the film. It's a good and it's a good and enjoyable film. If I were to break it down and let's do that right now. Let's break it down. First act, second act, and the third act. The first act is my favorite part, to be honest, from this film. I feel like it's the best part of the film.
Wait, which act? The third act?
No, the first act.
Yeah, the first act's really good.
Yeah. The first act for me is my favorite. Is like my favorite part. The second act of the film, that's when we start introducing some comic relief characters, and that's where I'm like, okay, sure, it's a Marvel film, it needs this. And then by the third act, you're like, right, it's a Marvel film, and it's where like the stakes are high, right? But you know nothing's gonna happen because you know the outcome for Black Widow. And I'm not here sitting down like, because it's again, she's one of the first Avengers. I feel like she deserves a little better, and it's not even because the film is bad. It's because of the timing. If they would have released this movie like right after Civil War, it would have worked beautifully. And you know what? Even if they would have released it by the time it was supposed to be released, which was like 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Right? This was supposed to be released 2 years ago.
Precisely 2 years ago.
I would have felt more for the film than now. At this point, it just felt like a necessity rather than a feeling that I got. It was like, okay, finally, I got the movie. And I loved it. It sounds very controversial because you're going to be like, okay, how would you say you loved it and you're going to give it a 6 out of 10? Again, all of this will honestly be explained a lot better with our spoiler review, which we'll be be able to hear on Monday on the podcast, which will also be talking about how this movie expands on the universe in a way. But with all of that said, Louis gave it a 5. I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's a really fun film. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Go watch it, enjoy it. That's one thing. There is an end credit scene, obviously, and to say that the end credit scene is a little bit more exciting than the actual movie is not a lie. It really is. Stick around to the end because that's the whole reason the movie exists. It's for the end credit scene. I said it. Didn't want to, but I did.
What else is there to say that doesn't touch spoilers? You can't talk about how, especially with the end credit scene, Marvel, all these movies and TV shows tie in. So in a sense, you kind of need to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier to understand the ending. Also, not really. Like, just Google search who the fuck.
Look. At this point, if you're in if you're in the Marvel journey, you have to watch all the films. That's like a period. That's it. You have to. There's no other way. You just have to do it. But that's pretty much our review. It's if I were to say it, okay, let me give you a small like summary of what I said here. My dog is excited.
Oh yeah, Rocky wants to talk about Black Widow.
Yeah, he really does, man. No, he's just pissed because he didn't get to see it because I saw it in the theaters. He stayed home. He was really mad at me. So, okay, it's a fun family film. It's your basic spy film. It's fun and quirky, and by quirky I mean it's kind of funny here and there. So it fits the Marvel, agenda, the Marvel formula.
It's just your stereotypical Marvel film.
It's your stereotypical Marvel film. It's a very basic spy plot, and it's just fun to watch. The issue comes from being a huge fan of the franchise, like feeling like that she deserved more. If I take away those feelings, it's great. And it still is, to be honest. So go watch it. Let us know what you thought in the comment section below. If you agree with us, if you don't agree with us, let's start a healthy conversation. Make sure to follow us on all of our socials. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Leave a like. Hit that bell notification so you know when we release new videos. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Good day.